Prepare to be amazed as we unveil the greatness of ancient Egyptian warfare. The Battle of Megiddo, fought in 1457 BC, stands as one of the earliest recorded military engagements, establishing a touchstone for ancient warfare. This conflict involved Egyptian forces, led by Pharaoh Thutmose III, and an insurrectionist alliance of Canaanite city-states spearheaded by the king of Kadesh. The cause of the confrontation was fundamentally rooted in the desire of Thutmose III to reassert Egyptian authority over Canaan, a vital land for maintaining the empire's trade routes and political influence. Thutmose III ascended to the throne at a time when the Assyrian-influenced king of Kadesh sought to sever ties with Egypt. The king of Kadesh initiated a coalition with other Canaanite rulers to revolt against Egyptian hegemony. The Canaanites stationed themselves in the strategic fortress town of Megiddo, an advantageous location due to its position along key trade routes and its natural fortifications. The Egyptians, renowned for their organizational military prowess, were commanded by Thutmose III to advance northward, requiring an approach through the treacherous terrain of the Carmel Mountain passes. Thutmose took a bold risk, choosing the most direct and narrow route, catching the Canaanites off guard. A less cautious general might have chosen a longer but safer route, but Thutmose's daring maneuver enabled him to deploy his forces rapidly and with the element of surprise. The Egyptian army was organized meticulously, utilizing chariots equipped with archers for mobility and shock power. The clash ensued fiercely, with Egyptians executing a direct assault on the Canaanite coalition. Thutmose exhibited acute strategic acumen, orchestrating a pincer movement to envelop his enemies, causing the coalition forces to retreat hastily towards Megiddo's fortified walls. The retreat became notorious for congestion, which allowed Egyptian forces to capture fleeing soldiers and significant amounts of equipment. The victory at Megiddo had profound consequences, signifying Egypt's dominance over the Canaanite territories, restoring and expanding its sphere of influence. Thutmose extracted rich booty, including cattle, armor, and precious metals, contributing to the prosperity and stability of Egypt's new kingdom. Strategic repercussions included the solidification of trade routes essential for economic growth and the deterrent effect on would-be insurrections. Additionally, this battle is a remarkable early example of recorded logistics, as Thutmose's scribes meticulously documented the preparations and outcome, highlighting the importance of administrative support to military success. In the grand tapestry of ancient history, the Battle of Megiddo is a tale of audacious strategy, showcasing Thutmose III's capabilities as a military leader and his definitive role in shaping the legacy of ancient Egypt's imperial might. Another epic warfare that tells the greatness of ancient Egyptian civilization, the Battle of Kadesh, a historical spectacle of military strategy and diplomacy, stands as a quintessential narrative of ancient warfare, dating back to 1274 BC. Set in modern-day Syria, this epic confrontation was between the Egyptian Empire under Pharaoh Ramesses II and the Hittite Empire led by King Muwatalli II. Hostilities brewed over a protracted period in pursuit of regional dominance over the area centering around Kadesh, a strategically pivotal city on the Orontes River. Both the Egyptians and Hittites were eager to expand their influence over the Levant, a region economically prosperous and a critical buffer zone. Kadesh, positioned on critical trade routes, was a coveted prize symbolizing control and power. Misunderstandings and broken treaties exacerbated tensions, leading to the clash in the plains of Kadesh. Pharaoh Ramesses II mobilized an impressive army, organized into 4 divisions named after the gods: Ammonius, Ra, Ta, and Seth. Ramesses confidently led his forces northwards with grand ideas of conquest and glory. However, deceptive intelligence reports misguided him into believing the Hittite army was farther north than it was. Consequently, Ramesses' forces became dispersed, with his Ammonius division marching ahead, exposing his army to ambush. The Hittites employed cunning military tactics, expertly orchestrated by King Muwatalli II. With an army well-informed and strategically positioned, the Hittites launched an unexpected assault on the isolated Ammonius division. The initial phase saw the Egyptians driven back, with chariots splaying across the battlefield. In the face of adversity, Ramesses II, according to Egyptian records, personally rallied his troops and spearheaded a bold counterattack. This move stabilized the Egyptian front and earned Ramesses the title of a heroic savior. Despite his valor, the battle turned into a stalemate as reinforcements arrived to prevent a total rout. The Battle of Kadesh concluded without a decisive victor, yet its aftermath bore significant political ramifications. Recognizing the futility and costly nature of their conflict, both empires entered diplomatic negotiations, culminating in the first known recorded peace treaty in history, the Treaty of Kadesh. This treaty inaugurated a new era of diplomatic relationships, redefining power dynamics in the ancient world. It established a buffer zone, restoring stability and opening channels for future cooperation and diplomacy between the two great powers. Ramesses II proclaimed a great victory to bolster his legacy within Egypt. Can a single pharaoh stand against a sea of invaders? The Battle of Jahi represents a critical moment in ancient Egyptian history, occurring circa 1175 BC, during the reign of Pharaoh Ramses III. This confrontation was part of a series of defensive campaigns waged by Ramses III against the Sea Peoples, a loose confederation of maritime marauders. The Sea Peoples were responsible for widespread destruction across the eastern Mediterranean at the end of the Late Bronze Age. Their incursions into Egyptian territory posed an existential threat to one of the oldest civilizations of the ancient world. The Sea Peoples consisted of various groups, with some allegedly originating from areas around the Aegean Sea, motivated by famine, social unrest, and possibly climate changes. They first swept through the Levant, devastating kingdoms and cities before setting their sights on Egypt. Ramses III, understanding the magnitude of this threat, meticulously prepared for the defense of his kingdom. He fortified strategic locations and mobilized land troops and naval forces. The Battle of Jahi, located on the coastal frontier of Egypt's empire in modern-day Lebanon, was one of the pivotal clashes between Ramses III and these invaders. As the Sea Peoples approached Jahi, Ramses showcased both strategic acumen and military prowess. The Egyptian forces were well entrenched, utilizing tactical formations that harnessed their knowledge of the terrain. Ramses himself, as illustrated in the reliefs from his mortuary temple at Medinet Habu, claimed direct command over both his army and navy during the battle. These depictions highlight his divine favor, emphasizing that he led with the blessing of the gods, an important cultural narrative that bolstered his legitimacy and the morale of his troops. The battle itself was fierce and prolonged with a combination of close combat and coordinated naval maneuvers, where the Egyptian forces managed to create an effective defensive perimeter both on land and at sea. Ramses employed archers who wielded composite bows, capable of inflicting damage from a distance, thereby wearing down the attackers before they could breach the land defenses. The climax of the battle saw the Egyptian navy executing a pincer movement, a tactic that effectively trapped the Sea People's ships between the shore and Egyptian vessels. This disarray led to a significant defeat for the Sea Peoples, as many of their ships were set ablaze or sunk, and those who reached the shore were systematically driven back by land forces. The victory at Jahi was of monumental importance for several reasons. Firstly, it secured Egypt's borders, preserving its trade routes and agricultural framework essential for sustaining its populace and economy. Secondly, it demonstrated the effectiveness of Ramses III's leadership, enabling him to project his authority across a region that was teetering on the edge of chaos. Lastly, it marked one of the final large-scale battles of the Bronze Age, symbolizing both the end of the Sea Peoples as a significant threat and the resilience of Egyptian civilization amidst a period of widespread upheaval. In conclusion, the Battle of Jahi stands as a testament to Ramses III's military strategy and the adaptability of Egyptian defenses. This successful repulsion of the Sea Peoples not only fortified the legacy of Ramses III as a pharaoh, but also reinforced the notion of divine kingship, as preserved in the iconography and inscriptions of ancient Egypt. Want to know about the battle that was the turning point in the Ptolemaic dynasty? The Battle of Actium, occurring on September 2nd, 31 BC, stands as a monumental naval confrontation that dramatically altered the course of history. This clash, set in the Ionian Sea near the promontory of Actium in Greece, pitted the formidable Roman fleet of Octavian against the combined forces of Mark Antony and Cleopatra VII. The outcome not only marked the conclusion of the Ptolemaic dynasty's reign over Egypt, but also cemented Octavian's path to becoming Augustus, the first Roman emperor. The historical context of the battle is critical to understanding its significance. Mark Antony, a Roman politician and general who was a part of the Second Triumvirate alongside Octavian and Lepidus, had allied himself with Cleopatra, the powerful and intelligent queen of Egypt. This alliance was both political and romantic, providing Antony with the substantial resources and troops underpinning Cleopatra's kingdom. However, this relationship was viewed unfavorably by segments of Roman society, considered a threat to Rome's traditional values, and viewed as an insult by Octavian, who used it to publicly depict Antony as a betrayer of Rome's interests. In a bid to control the Mediterranean, Antony and Cleopatra amassed their forces, comprising a vast array of ships and experienced crews. Antony's strategy relied heavily on his larger quinqueremes, intending to engage Octavian's fleet in the open sea, where he believed his forces would be superior. However, they faced logistical challenges, including difficulties in maintaining effective communication between allied forces from different cultural backgrounds and internal dissent. Octavian, a shrewd politician and military strategist, amassed a fleet under the command of his capable admiral, Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa. Agrippa initiated a successful campaign to cut off Antony's supply lines, securing strategic ports along the western coast of Greece. This blockade strategy was crucial in isolating Antony and Cleopatra's fleet, gradually eroding their ability to sustain prolonged operations. The day of the battle witnessed the climax of meticulous planning and strategic foresight. The layout of Antony's forces positioned them between Actium and the open sea, offering them apparent maneuverability. However, Octavian's fleet, although numerically inferior, was far more agile, composed mainly of lighter and more maneuverable ships, allowing them to outflank and encircle Antony's larger vessels. A key moment orchestrated by Agrippa involved the breaking of the central line of Antony's fleet. This maneuver was emblematic of the tactical superiority that Octavian's forces maintained throughout the engagement. As the fighting ensued, Cleopatra, who commanded a contingent of ships, observed the tide turning against Antony. Calculating her position, she withdrew her fleet, retreating to Egypt, effectively sealing the fate of the engagement. The aftermath of Actium delineated the end for Antony and Cleopatra. Disheartened and defeated, they retreated to Alexandria, where, in the face of impending Roman dominance, they famously took their own lives. Octavian's victory at Actium was not merely military, but also ideological, as he utilized the propaganda of the time to vilify Antony and champion his own cause as the restorer of Roman dignity and peace. Witness the fall of a mighty civilization. Pelusium, located on the northeastern edge of the Nile Delta, was a critical strategic location in ancient Egypt. In 525 BC, this site became the decisive battleground where the Persian Empire, led by Cambyses II, successfully overcame the Egyptian army and initiated Persian rule over Egypt. This event marked a significant shift in the ancient world's political landscape, emphasizing the rise of the Achaemenid Empire and its expansion into Africa. The build-up to the Battle of Pelusium was characterized by a tension-laden rivalry between two ancient powers. Egypt, under the rule of Pharaoh Psamtik III, was a venerable civilization with a long-standing tradition of military strength and cultural prosperity. However, internal strife and recent losses in battle had weakened their defenses, leaving them vulnerable to external threats. In contrast, the Persian Empire, having rapidly expanded across Asia Minor, sought to extend its dominion into the rich lands of Egypt. Under the astute leadership of King Cambyses II, the Persian army was not only immense in size, but also innovative in its approach to warfare. Cambyses II is often noted in historical records for his cunning strategy at Pelusium, where he allegedly used cats and other animals. sacred to the Egyptians as psychological weapons, by marching into battle with the sacred animals in front of them. The Persian forces demoralized the Egyptians. The Egyptians were reluctant to fight for fear of harming animals considered divine. Furthermore, the Persian army was composed of seasoned soldiers from various regions throughout their empire, adept in both traditional combat and siege tactics. With these advantages, Cambyses II's forces met the Egyptian army outside Pelusium. Here, the Persians employed a combination of brute force and clever subterfuge to decimate the Egyptian defenses. The battle culminated with the fall of Pelusium, a defeat for Egypt. This defeat profoundly weakened Egypt's military prestige. Historical accounts suggest that the Egyptians were caught off guard by the Persian tactics, including the use of their own religious beliefs against them, leading to a disastrous collapse of morale on the Egyptian side. In the aftermath of Pelusium, Psamtik III retreated to the city of Memphis, where he attempted to organize a last line of defense, but was eventually captured. This marked the end of Egyptian autonomy and the beginning of Persian rule. The conquest of Egypt by the Persians expanded their influence substantially and demonstrated the military prowess and strategic ingenuity of Cambyses II. The Persian rule, however, was not purely oppressive. It marked a period where Egyptian traditions were largely respected and integrated into the broader Persian administration. The administrative systems of the Egyptians were adapted and utilized within the Persian imperial framework. The cultural interplay between these two civilizations left a lasting legacy in the region. Ultimately, the Battle of Pelusium in 525 BC not only signaled a critical military conquest, but also a substantial cultural and political evolution within the ancient world. It was an era-defining moment that reshaped the Egyptian state and left a profound impact on future generations. King Akhenaten, originally known as Amenhotep IV, is a figure shrouded in both historical and academic intrigue, largely due to his revolutionary approach to Egyptian religion, art, and governance. His personal life and family, while less documented than his public reforms, offer a rich tapestry of relationships and mysteries that continue to captivate historians and scholars. Akhenaten's royal household was marked by his deeply personal and politically significant relationship with his great royal wife, Nefertiti. Often depicted alongside Akhenaten, Nefertiti played a critical role as a partner in rule and as an emblem of beauty and power. Historical interpretations suggest she may have wielded significant influence, both as a co-ruler and as a key proponent of Akhenaten's religious vision centering on the worship of Aten, the sun disk. Her moniker as the Beautiful One has come reflects her iconic status in ancient history. The couple produced 6 daughters, whose depictions in art marked a significant departure from previous Egyptian representation. Unlike the rigid, formal art of earlier dynasties, imagery of Akhenaten's family was distinctively naturalistic, often showing the daughters in intimate and familial settings. This new portrayal highlighted their affectionate familial bonds and possibly signified their symbolic roles as extensions of the royal couple's divine nature. Beyond their artistic parallels, the health and physiological presentation of Akhenaten and his line hold particular scholarly attention. Multiple statues and carvings reveal Akhenaten's distinctive elongated features, which some researchers speculate evidence a medical condition such as Marfan syndrome. This genetic syndrome fits the bill due to traits like elongated limbs and fingers, yet no definitive diagnosis can be retroactively confirmed. Inherently linked to these health speculations are the possible inherited conditions that might have plagued the royal family. Tutankhamun, Akhenaten's probable son, famously suffered from numerous health issues, including a club foot, cleft palate, and scoliosis. The questions of these genetic diseases cast a shadow over the familial lineage and provide context for the need to explore and understand the health challenges that could have influenced Akhenaten's rule and the political dynamism of the 18th dynasty. To add further enigma to Akhenaten's narrative is the controversy surrounding his succession. Akhenaten, known historically for his radical approach to religion, his reign marked a profound shift in Egyptian theological paradigms. One of the most distinctive features of his reign was the introduction and imposition of Atenism, the worship of the sun deity Aten, as the state's singular religious practice. Prior to Akhenaten's rise, Egyptian religion had been dominantly polytheistic, with Ammonius being one of the most venerated deities. The priesthood of Ammonius had amassed substantial power and influence, posing a potential threat to the pharaonic authority. Akhenaten's decision to centralize the worship on Aten and discontinue the worship of Ammonius can be viewed through various lenses. One persuasive motive was the consolidation of royal power. By de-emphasizing Ammonius' priesthood, Akhenaten systematically weakened a powerful institution, thereby realigning religious practices under direct royal control. Another interpretation of his monotheistic reforms points to personal conviction and potential divine revelations that drove Akhenaten to perceive Aten as the supreme, possibly the only, divine entity. This aligns with his apparent belief in Aten as the life-giving force of the world. This concept is vividly described in the hymn to the Aten. This hymn praises the benevolence and universality of Aten's presence and can be viewed as an early form of religious text emphasizing a singular deity's omnipotence. Notably, it draws parallels to later religious writings such as the Psalms, demonstrating a similar reverence for divine creation and omnipresence. However, Akhenaten's religious revolution was not without significant social ramifications. The traditional temples dedicated to Egypt's polytheistic pantheon were shuttered, leading to societal unrest. The grievances of the displaced Ammonius priests reflected broader dissatisfaction, as religious culture had played a vital role in societal cohesion. The dramatic alteration of religious practice likely fostered public confusion and resentment, especially considering the rapid pace of reform. Additionally, the economic implications were notable. Temple closures effectively transferred wealth and power from established religious institutions back to the regal center. While this may have momentarily benefited the pharaonic administration, the societal discord it engendered could not be overlooked. Ultimately, Akhenaten's reign, characterized by his religious zeal and audacious reforms, had an ephemeral footprint. Following his death, the religious orthodoxy rapidly reverted to polytheism under the successors, notably Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun restored the worship of Ammonius. This return marked the public and authoritative repudiation of Akhenaten's religious innovations. The brief monopoly of Atenism underscores crucial dynamics within ancient Egyptian society, the complex interplay between political authority, religion, and societal structure. Akhenaten's legacy continues to be a subject of scholarly examination, both for its religious implications and the substantial shifts it catalyzed within the Egyptian socio-political landscape. The art of the ancient Egyptian ruler Akhenaten, known as Amarna art, represents a significant departure from traditional Egyptian artistic conventions. This narrative explores the distinctive characteristics that define this era's artistic production. Highlights key artworks such as the iconic bust of Nefertiti and contrasts these with more conventional Egyptian artistic features. Akhenaten, formerly known as Amenhotep IV, initiated a religious and artistic revolution during his reign, emphasizing the worship of Aten, the sun disk. This theological shift was accompanied by dramatic changes in artistic expression, leading to the development of what is now termed Amarna art, named after Akhenaten's city, Amarna, where he relocated the capital. One of the most striking elements of Amarna art is its unprecedented realism, a notable contrast to the idealized forms and rigid conventions of earlier Egyptian art. Amarna artists embraced expressive and naturalistic portrayals, deviating from the consistent geometry and perfectionism of their predecessors. This period is characterized by elongated and curvilinear figures, and the representation of figures with exaggerated physical traits, such as elongated heads, slender necks, drooping lips, heavy eyelids, and pronounced stomachs, challenged the typical canonical style. The artistic forms during Akhenaten's reign often depicted intimate family scenes, showcasing the pharaoh with his wife, Nefertiti, and their daughters in private and affectionate family interactions. This portrayal of royalty in personal and tender moments was revolutionary, as previous art primarily focused on the grandeur and divinity of the rulers. One of the most celebrated pieces of Amarna art is the bust of Nefertiti, found in the workshop of sculptor Thutmose. This artwork encapsulates the era's characteristic features of realism, promoting intimate aesthetics while highlighting Nefertiti's elegance with her elongated features and serene expression. Also prominent are the paintings depicting the royal family beneath the radiant and life-giving rays of Aten, reinforcing the religious significance of Akhenaten's reforms. Contrasting with the Amarna style, traditional Egyptian art, exemplified by statues of rulers such as Ramses II, emphasizes timelessness, authority, and rigid formality. The statuary and reliefs of this conventional style adhere to work proportions and idealized features, portraying figures with a timeless, godlike perfection meant to convey eternal power. In sum, Amarna art reflects a period of profound transformation in the cultural and spiritual life of Egypt. Its move towards realism and emotional expression marks a stark contrast to the iconic traditions preceding it, offering an intriguing insight into a unique historical chapter defined by the idiosyncratic vision of a pharaoh who defied norms and embraced an innovative aesthetic perspective. The period of King Akhenaten's reign stands as one of the most revolutionary phases in ancient Egyptian history, characterized by profound changes in religious practices, artistic expression, and urban planning. Akhenaten, initially known as Amenhotep IV, was a pharaoh belonging to the 18th dynasty of Egypt. His reign marked a departure from the traditional worship of a pantheon of gods to the singular veneration of Aten, the sun disk, embodying this drastic shift known today as Atenism. To manifest his devotion to Aten, Akhenaten established a new capital city named Akhetaten, Horizon of Aten, located at the site of modern-day Amarna. The architectural design of Akhetaten was revolutionary, embracing religious symbolism and a unique conception of city planning. True to its dedication to Aten, the city was designed with open temples, devoid of roofs, allowing the sun's rays to penetrate uninterrupted, emphasizing Aten's divine presence and influence. This architectural trait exemplified a radical departure from the massive, enclosed temple complexes. The construction of Akhetaten was remarkably rapid, facilitated by the innovation of utilizing talatats, small standardized limestone blocks, for building purposes. These blocks were efficiently assembled in modular fashion, hastening the process of erecting structures pivotal to Akhenaten's vision. Talatats became the cornerstone of Akhetaten's architecture, symbolizing not just an efficient approach to erection of edifices, but symbolically representing the orderly and systemic worship of Aten. A prominent feature of Akhetaten's architecture was its alignment with celestial phenomena. The main axis of the city was strategically oriented eastward towards the sunrise, endowing the city with a unique celestial connection. This orientation held profound religious significance, as the sunrise marked the ceremonial awakening of Aten, and the city itself served as the material representation of divine harmony with nature. In contrast, while the temples of Karnak were horizontal structures designed to encapsulate the divine in enclosed sanctuaries, Akhenaten opened its heart to the sky, celebrating the sun in its grand architectural embrace. To further elucidate its unique structuring, Akhenaten's open-plan layout revealed a series of courtyards, plazas, and boundaries steely delineating tangential points revering Aten's majesty. Every feature of the city was meticulously designed to foster a vivid connection between the inhabitants and Aten, nurturing a spiritual dynamism unprecedented in Egyptian history. The urban nucleus, the Great Temple of Aten, prominently occupied the city's landscape, exemplifying the unification of architectural brilliance and piety. The design of Akhenaten, grounded on both religious zeal and architectural innovation, underscored Akhenaten's profound ideological transformation, creating a legacy and infusing the region with a symbolic representation of solar divinity. Akhenaten, in its short-lived existence, stood as a testament to Akhenaten's extraordinary ambition to mold Egypt not only into a new religious sphere, but into a civilization basking in the omnipresence of Aten, the sole deity revered in the city of the sun's horizon. Akhenaten emerged, challenging the centuries-old norms that lay entrenched in the society and religious fabric of his era. It was during the New Kingdom, amid the opulent courts of Thebes, that Akhenaten stirred a profound transformation that would echo through eternity. As the wisps of incense clouded the air within Karnak's grand temple, the heavy gaze of the priests of Unearthed bore down upon Egypt's ruler. Akhenaten, however, envisioned an ambitious departure from the pantheon of deities revered by his predecessors. He orchestrated the ascendancy of Aten, the sun disk, elevating it above all other gods, and in this, manifesting an unprecedented chapter of monotheism in Egyptian history. Politically, Akhenaten's shift in religious ethos served more than theological interest. The priests of Thebes wielded immense power, with their influence spreading vast and deep, akin to the roots of a mighty papyrus. By instigating the worship of Aten and branding it as supreme, Akhenaten aimed to transcend the limitations imposed by the religious oligarchy, reducing the stranglehold of traditional priesthood over Egypt's economic and spiritual life. The migration away from Thebes to the virgin grounds of Akhenaten, modern-day Amarna, represented both a physical and symbolic divergence from old powers. Situated along the Nile's fertile banks, Akhenaten was crafted not only as a religious capital, but as the locus of a fresh societal order where divine Aten's light would be unimpeded. Yet, such monumental endeavors came at colossal economic costs. The erection of this new city involved strenuous efforts, channeling vast resources and labor, stretching the kingdom's treasury thin. The burden of raising grand edifices within barren lands, procuring supplies, and supporting its burgeoning population consumed Egypt's wealth exorbitantly. Akhenaten's reign along the sacred city walls cast long shadows, whispering tales of glory and hubris until his fateful demise. With him crumbled the ephemeral dream woven by the sands of Akhenaten. His successors, reluctant to perpetuate the bold religious singularism, elapsed into bygone traditions. Akhenaten, also identified as Amenhotep IV, ascended to the throne of ancient Egypt during the 18th dynasty. His reign, spanning from around 1353 to 1336 BCE, is often described as extraordinary and transformative, yet deeply controversial. He is renowned for one of the most radical shifts in ancient Egyptian history, the deviation from traditional polytheistic worship to the monotheistic adoration of the sun god Aten. This bold religious transformation not only altered religious practices, but also instigated profound social and political changes within the kingdom. Akhenaten's reign was marked by the construction of a new capital, Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna. Here, under the radiant light of the Aten, Akhenaten, alongside his chief wife Nefertiti, endeavored to reshape Egyptian culture, emphasizing a move away from the traditional priesthood and embracing a new artistic style. Despite the dramatic innovations, his devotion to Aten and the neglect of the powerful Ammonius priesthood sowed seeds of discontent. Upon his death, Akhenaten's religious experiment was swiftly dismantled. His successor, Tutankhamun, under the advisement of state officials, restored the conventional religious order. Akhetaten was abandoned, and the city fell into ruin. Akhenaten's name was systematically omitted from king lists, his monuments defaced, and he was posthumously labeled a heretic. The narrative of his oblivion persisted for centuries until the tales of his controversial reign re-emerged. The discovery and excavation of Tel El Amarna in the late 19th century provided an invaluable glimpse into Akhenaten's world, revealing artifacts, art styles, and architecture that uncovered the depth of his vision and rule. These discoveries have been pivotal in reconstructing the understanding of a ruler who had been largely written out of history. Akhenaten's period fascinated modern thinkers, including Sigmund Freud, who famously drew parallels between Akhenaten and Moses. Freud speculated that Akhenaten's monotheistic beliefs may have influenced the formation of Judaism, thus intertwining his narrative with religious history beyond Egypt's borders. This hypothesis, although controversial, highlighted the enduring impact of Akhenaten's ideology on monotheistic religions and our understanding of religious evolution. Akhenaten, in transitioning from heretic to myth, encapsulates a story of vision and political and religious experimentation. His legacy, overshadowed by the desire to erase memory, continues to influence modern perceptions of faith, leadership, and cultural transformation. The ongoing excavation and research at Tel El Amarna remain crucial to unfolding the enigma of this intriguing figure. Did you know about Queen Nefertiti, often known as the beautiful one who has come forth, remains one of the most enigmatic and powerful female figures in ancient history. Her story is not just a tale of beauty, but a tapestry woven with power, religion, and culture that continues to influence and captivate the modern world. Nefertiti reigned alongside her husband, Pharaoh Akhenaten, during the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt, a period marked by profound religious transformation and artistic innovation. Nefertiti was more than just a queen. She was a co-regent, a role that enabled her to wield significant influence over both the state and spiritual affairs. Together with Akhenaten, she played a pivotal role in the establishment of the Aten cult, which marked a departure from traditional Egyptian polytheism. This religious revolution was characterized by the elevation of the sun disk god Aten as the supreme deity. This monotheistic shift was not merely a religious decree, but a cultural upheaval, transforming art, language, and societal norms. Nefertiti's name is etched into history not just for her political and religious roles, but for her artistic legacy. The Amarna artistic style, named after the city of Akhetaten, the new capital built by Akhenaten and Nefertiti, is renowned for its unprecedented realism and emotive expressions. Her bust, discovered in 1912 by German archaeologist Ludwig Borchardt, is perhaps one of the most iconic and recognizable artifacts from antiquity. This limestone bust, housed in Berlin's Neues Museum, showcases her extraordinary beauty and has become a symbol of ancient Egyptian art. Beyond the realm of artistic endeavors, Nefertiti's influence extended into monumental architecture. The city of Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna, was designed to be a center for the worship of Aten. Although much of the city lies in ruins today, the remnants of its grandeur tell the story of a flourishing urban center with temples, palaces, and residences that speak to a sophisticated and organized society. The Great Temple of the Aten and the Small Aten Temple are among the most significant architectural contributions from this period, providing invaluable insights into the religious practices and urban planning of the time. Despite the wealth of information about her, significant gaps remain, particularly concerning her later life and death. Please follow us and support the channel to make more interesting videos about the ancient Egyptian civilization. The Queen Who Wore the Crown. Let's discover the extraordinary tale of a woman who defied societal norms to become one of Egypt's most powerful pharaohs. Welcome, history enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the extraordinary reign of one of ancient Egypt's most remarkable pharaohs, Queen Hatshepsut. Imagine a queen who defied conventions, expanded her kingdom's reach, and left an indelible mark on history. That's Hatshepsut. As Egypt's first female pharaoh, she shattered the glass ceiling of her time and embarked on bold expeditions that forever altered the fabric of her empire. Stay tuned as we explore how her voyages to the land of Punt not only boosted Egypt's wealth through trade, but also fostered a rich exchange of culture and knowledge. Picture this: a fleet of magnificent ships setting sail from the banks of the Red Sea, headed for the mysterious land of Punt. These voyages were more than just commercial ventures. They were diplomatic missions that brought exotic goods like incense, ebony, and ivory back to Egypt. But Hatshepsut's thirst for discovery didn't stop there. She commissioned numerous construction projects, including the breathtaking temple of Deir el-Bahari. Now, let's delve deeper into her fascinating life. Born into the royal family, Hatshepsut was well-versed in the politics and rituals of the palace. Her marriage to Thutmose II initially placed her in the role of queen consort, but fate had much more in store for her. Upon her husband's death, she seized the mantle of pharaoh, adopting male regalia and titles to assert her authority. Her reign marked an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity, underpinned by her visionary policies and diplomatic acumen. One of Hatshepsut's most significant achievements was her decision to depict herself as a male pharaoh in statues and inscriptions, challenging traditional gender roles and expectations. Her innovative approach to leadership extended beyond her appearance. She implemented policies that strengthened Egypt's economy and infrastructure. Under her rule, Egypt saw an explosion of artistic and architectural advancements, leaving an enduring legacy that continues to captivate historians and archaeologists alike. So, why does Hatshepsut's story matter today? In an age where women still fight for equal representation and recognition, Hatshepsut's life and reign serve as a powerful reminder of what women can achieve when given the opportunity. Stay with us as we journey through the life and legacy of Queen Hatshepsut, uncovering the mysteries and marvels of her reign. On a scorching November day in 1922, Howard Carter, a British archaeologist, stood at the entrance of a tomb in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. The dusty air was thick with anticipation as Carter, alongside his benefactor Lord Carnarvon, prepared to uncover a moment that would be etched into history. Earlier, Carter's team had discovered a set of steps hidden beneath the sands, leading down to a sealed doorway. After weeks of careful excavation, they found themselves at the precipice of an extraordinary find. Carter held a trembling hand to the door and, with a chisel, carefully made a small breach. Holding up a candle to peer inside, his eyes widened in disbelief. "Can you see anything?" asked Lord Carnarvon anxiously. "Yes, wonderful things," Carter replied, his voice brimming with exhilaration. Before him lay an antechamber filled with golden artifacts, statues, and treasures untouched for over 3 millennia. This was the tomb of Tutankhamun, the boy king who had died at a young age, yet left behind one of the most extravagant burial sites of ancient Egypt. The treasures within included the iconic golden mask of Tutankhamun, which would become one of the most famous symbols of ancient Egypt. The discovery was unprecedented, as it was one of the most intact tombs ever found, giving unique insight into the life, death, and burial practices of the ancient Egyptian royalty. For years, Egyptologists had searched for undisturbed tombs, but many had been looted over the centuries. Tutankhamun's tomb was a rare, almost untouched time capsule that offered a direct connection to a civilization long past. The find captivated not just the archaeological community, but the entire world, sparking a renewed fervor for ancient Egypt. To this day, Tutankhamun's tomb remains one of the most remarkable archaeological discoveries ever made, a testament to the grandeur and mystery of ancient Egyptian civilization. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. The influence of ancient Egyptian art, architecture, and beliefs has profoundly inspired cultures around the world throughout history. The iconic pyramids, for example, embody architectural prowess and have motivated countless monumental structures across different civilizations. The precise engineering and grandeur of these structures continue to be a testament to human ingenuity and are studied in modern times by architects and engineers alike. In art, the distinctive style of Egyptian painting and sculpture, with its emphasis on profile views and symbolic representation, influenced Greek and later Roman art. This approach to art, focusing on simplification and symbolism, laid the groundwork for various art movements, including Art Deco in the 20th century, which borrowed heavily from Egyptian motifs. Egyptian mythology and religious beliefs have also transcended time and geography. The concept of an afterlife and the intricate ways in which the Egyptians prepared for it have fascinated and influenced various belief systems and literary works throughout centuries. The Book of the Dead, with its spells and guides for the afterlife, has echoes in modern spiritual practices and popular culture. Moreover, the enduring symbols of Egyptian culture, such as the Ankh, the Eye of Horus, and the scarab beetle, continue to appear in jewelry, fashion, and art, signifying protection, health, and rebirth. Even modern storytelling, from novels to movies, often finds its roots in Egyptian legends, showcasing the timeless appeal of their myths and the universal themes they encapsulate. The mummification process, aside from its technical intrigue, contributed to the medical and scientific understanding of anatomy and preservation, influencing modern techniques and forensic methods. The story of Cleopatra, the Great Sphinx of Giza, and the wealth of the Pharaohs continue to captivate imaginations worldwide, proving that the allure of ancient Egypt is eternal. Whether through tangible contributions to architecture and art or the enduring legacy of their mythology and religious beliefs, the Egyptians have left an indelible mark on global culture. Nestled on the western bank of the Nile River, the Dendera Temple of Hathor stands as a testament to ancient Egypt's architectural brilliance and astronomical expertise. This magnificent temple, dedicated to the goddess Hathor, the deity of love, beauty, and music, offers rich insights into the cosmological wisdom of ancient times. As visitors approach the temple, they are greeted by its imposing facade adorned with intricate carvings and hieroglyphs. However, it's the temple's astronomical aspects that truly captivate the imagination. Inside the temple, one of the most enthralling features is the Zodiac of Dendera, an astronomical chart engraved on the ceiling of one of the chapels. This chart is a detailed map of the sky, depicting constellations, planets, and symbols representing the sun, moon, and stars. What makes it remarkable is its depiction of the precession of the equinoxes, a phenomenon understood by ancient astronomers long before it was discovered in modern times. Beyond the zodiac, the temple houses several reliefs and inscriptions that further exemplify the Egyptians' astronomical knowledge. One notable relief is the depiction of the sky goddess Nut arching over the earth, symbolizing the night sky and the daily renewal of the cosmos. Another fascinating element is the Dendera light, a set of mysterious carvings that some theorists suggest might represent ancient electrical technology or metaphors for astronomical phenomena. Scholars continue to debate its true meaning, adding an element of mystery to the temple's beauty. The Dendera Temple isn't just about stargazing, it's a marvel of architectural innovation. The building features a hypostyle hall with robust columns adorned with Hathor-headed capitals, offering a serene yet awe-inspiring atmosphere. Above, the ceiling is painted with vivid astronomical scenes, where visitors can trace the paths of celestial bodies as envisioned by the ancients. As one delves deeper into the temple's chambers and passageways, the sense of stepping back in time intensifies. Torches flicker against the walls, casting shadows that dance upon the ancient carvings, rekindling the light of a civilization that revered the stars. It's a journey not just through stone and art, but through the cosmos as seen by one of the world's oldest cultures.